I know commenting on the passage of time is incredibly trite and overdone, but I can't believe it was a week ago that we were talking to Crack Rock late on this stream. That feels like it was a month ago.
It does feel like it was a month ago.
That was a
It
long
really
time
does.
ago.
Ben Gretsch, Pat Crane, how are we doing?
Doing good. I actually watched a YouTube presentation on what time even is today. So your time is quite topical for me.
Wait, what was this that you watched?
I went down a rabbit hole of just kind of having something on in the background while I tinker with my dynasty ranks. And it was like a lecture about how like we don't even really understand what time is and how it probably doesn't even really exist, but we're like emotionally connected to it because of the way our brains were designed.
Yeah, I had a philosophical.
Gotta be one of those kind of shows.
I was just gonna say, I went on a run earlier, and have you guys ever had the thing that happens? And I hate that I'm gonna bring it up because now everyone's gonna have it happen. But where you think about blinking, and then you're like, when is the next time that I'm not going to think about blinking? Like then thinking into the future, would that be? It's tomorrow. So I have been thinking about time as it relates to blinking today.
No.
Oh my god, I can't stop thinking about it.
The whole show is just like, so how much are we spending on Devonta Booker?
I'm not. I refuse to open my eyes the rest of the
time. You've ruined me. And I'm not drinking tonight, so I can't even take my mind off it.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, chat hates you now.
The whole chat, literally a bunch of dudes, and like their eyes are a little dry because they're watching a screen. So you feel every blink.
Someone says here, when you bid block ship chasers into starting Njoku, I got a DM from someone last week that was like, about like, I'm trying not to use the information you guys say on the show against you in a league. I was like, buddy, we're broadcasting it to the world. Do with that information.
Literally, that's your advantage.
Yeah, I'm begging you, please use this to your advantage. It's kind of like, I feel like sometimes what we perceive as advantages is almost like trying to select defenses in DFS, where it's like you have a lean. You think you can rank these defenses, but there's so much randomness that it's like the edge is so microscopic, which is why we're willing to say these things. So please keep using our bid numbers against us. You have our blessing.
Although in the future we probably won't be revealing our exact bids at 958.
Speak for yourself.
God damn it. I've been speaking for myself the whole time. I've never done this. I was trying to speak for you.
Hey Sam. Devonta Booker is the topic of conversation tonight. I feel like he's available in maybe 85% of our leagues. There was a couple where he was gone. Gretsch, after emerging from the lab, seeing his usage last week after Saquon left the game, how are you feeling about Booker?
Yeah, I feel good about him. He got decent high value touch numbers. I think it was 88% of the snaps, and Saquon played 9% or whatever. So there, you're like, okay, there was 91% possible after Saquon left, right? And Booker was at 88%. Basically played every snap. Brightwell was up. Brightwell played on special teams a couple weeks back. Brightwell was up and Booker was not, which we, sort of knew at the time was because of special teams. And they had a numbers game at some other position, whatever it was, linebacker or something. It was interesting after Saquon went out that with Brightwell up, Brightwell did not play an offensive snap, right? So Booker was the clear backup. It's a little bit different than like what we saw, my read is that it's different than what we saw in Chicago, where, this week we saw Damian and Herbert split quite a bit, or even like Carolina the first week after McCaffrey was gone, and they brought up Rodney Smith and he takes all the receiving. Like what we saw from Booker was he was playing every single snap, and they had the next guy up active and could have used him.
I thought that was interesting too, that Brightwell's active, because nothing's really going to change this week. Now I guess there's like a little bit of a time limit on how long you're going to get Booker for. Saquon might only be out a couple weeks, I guess. But man, I mean, this means absolutely nothing. But like, my God, his ankle was swollen. That did not look like he's back playing at 100% in 3 weeks to me.
I'm the same way in general with all this stuff. I'm always more willing to bet against optimistic return. And I also think going in both directions, they're generally a little more optimistic on how quick they can get back. And then on the other hand, like inertia and momentum for these guys who step into new roles is also a thing too. I'm not saying Booker's going to hold on to the job when Saquon comes back, but I'm saying they might be more inclined to not rush a guy back if Booker is performing well. So you could have this almost like correlated thing where Booker's playing well, they don't rush Saquon back as much. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you need wins and you're weak at running back, like we are on a lot of teams, I have no problem being aggressive with Booker here.
I'm gonna go the other way from you guys though and say that I think Barkley's like totally fine. All the reports have been that he's fine. It's low ankle. The swelling's. Have you guys ever rolled an ankle? Like my ankles have ballooned up huge in the past, and then you'll be fine in like 7 to 10 days. Like it's not a big deal.
I rolled my ankle and I had a low ankle sprain and I didn't feel like my ankle was 100% for like a year. Like you can have a bad low ankle sprain. My buddy had, I think he might have had actually like a slight fracture in his ankle that he never took care of. But like it took him like a year and a half to get back from a bad ankle sprain.
Sure,
and it was low ankle. It's like
it feels like when you roll them, you can roll them again. I had some buddies that have done that before too. But someone in the chat saying your boy Edwin Porras is saying the swelling's no big deal. That was always my I wasn't freaking out by the swelling when I saw it during the game. I was like, that's what rolled ankles look like. They always balloon up, and then the swelling goes down in like 2 days.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what the underlying. Like how badly he sprained it. But they thought he might have broken his ankle, right? Like that was the initial thing. He was carted off. Like he didn't twist his ankle. He like really badly rolled his ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we see this stuff. I mean, I know it's not the exact same thing with McCaffrey, but it was like he practiced, did some light work last week, and then he was out. And then this week they're saying it's still like a coin flip if he's going to play. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'm just always willing to bet against optimistic timelines.
Well, to your point, Pete, like, you know, the whole Bateman debate of like, you know, when are we going to get Bateman? And they activate him right after the 3 weeks, but he still hasn't played because like going to IR. Yeah. Going to IR. I think like, it just doesn't mean the 3 weeks. It means a minimum of 3 weeks, and then they have to activate you, but then they have 21 days to activate you. So the fact that Saquon avoided IR doesn't mean he's playing again in 3 weeks. It means they didn't need to make him miss a minimum of 3 weeks and then have a 21-day window when they can activate him. So it's more like he's in the kind of 3 to 5 games missed as opposed to like, you know, 4 to 6.
And my other point too is more, I mean, we're far along now. We're 5 weeks deep. The FFPC regular season is shortened. You know, it's not this long runway. If you're needing to catch up on points as we hit the bye weeks here or record, I could argue that, you know, emptying the clip, even on a guy you get for 2 spot starts, if he gives you 15 plus points a game for those, like that could be very, very valuable to your lineup.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think it's even worth it if it's only 1. If you need it that bad, like if you're 1 and 4, like do it. You know, but and you guys are making good points. Chris here in the chat said Ben and I have the same attitude because we both have a lot of Saquon teams. I do think I'm probably optimistic for that reason, but you guys are making me a little bit more pessimistic for sure. He's definitely going to miss this week. I had been thinking maybe he'll be back the following week. I wonder when their bye is now that we're sitting here talking about it. Like, would they hold them through their bye? Like, how does that? Because like Dalvin, I probably would have said 1 week, but now it's like, oh, the Vikings have a week 7 bye. Why would they play him? And Barkley, like, they were cautious with him in week 1. You guys are right. Like, they're not going to rush him back if his ankle's bad.
Yeah, and like, you know, with the McCaffrey thing, that's also making me rethink it a little bit. Where you see, okay, he doesn't go to IR. So clearly he's going to play on that 3rd week. Otherwise, you know, they kind of wasted not sending him to IR. But I wonder if the teams are sort of thinking about it like, really that IR gives you like 5 weeks to work with. And so if we have even a 50-50 shot of him playing the 3rd week, why would we take that to a 0% chance? Like, And then you also, if he can play that 4th week, it's really until like the 5th week. Like if he misses 5 weeks, McCaffrey, then they really should have put him on IR. Anything before that, you can kind of talk yourself into it being fine that you didn't. So I don't know. I think kind of to Pete's point about taking the over on all these injuries, like we might be thinking about this differently than the teams even are when they decide to put guys on IR or not.
I also wonder too if there's an element of, all these guys, elite athletes, they are always wanting to get back on the field. I'm sure some of these guys would come back out on the field even after rolling their ankle like that if they could. I wonder if there's an element of just tossing them a bone like, hey, we'll leave the window open. If you do your rehab well, you get back, we'll get you back on the field, where it's almost like we don't want to demoralize them by shutting the door on them for 3 weeks.
I can see that too.
Now we're really getting outside of our expertise here. But Sam brings up a good point, which is a new wrinkle in the FFPC this year with the extra week of the regular season. We do have an all-play week. So you are playing all of the teams in your league. How are you guys? Have you guys thought about this at all? I personally don't think it's going to really impact any start-sit decisions for me. But I don't know. Did anyone have kind of a take on this?
I don't have a strong. I like all play. I think this was an elegant solution to having the extra week. I think all plays. I'm not a huge head-to-head fan. I don't dislike head-to-head, but that all play week I think is very fair rather than having us play another team twice. So I'm glad they did that.
I like this take from Henry that the all-play week should be week 1 so that you're not just immediately taking an 0-1 loss when you go against the Dalton Schultz, Amari Cooper team like we did in a couple of leagues.
Yeah,
that's a great point, Henry.
Yeah.
And also, although that would have... Wait, so how does this work? Top 6 get a win, bottom 6 get a loss?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And so it just smooths out your variance of, the second place team or high scoring team on a given week runs into the first high scoring. You go 0-1. In this scenario, you'd go, what would it be? 4-2 or whatever? Or no, you're playing, you would go, 10-1 in this scenario if you're the second highest scoring team?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, I think it's just the top 6 get a win. And
it's just the top. Okay, this isn't. There's 2 versions. I'm thinking of.
That's why I was asking. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just like a double up essentially.
It's a double
top
up.
6.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't change anything from a strategy standpoint. I mean.
No, you're not getting. You don't have a chance to get way more wins. This week's worth the same as every other week.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were implying. That it's like. That to me, it doesn't even mean that Booker is worth adding that much more. You don't need a ceiling for any reason. You just need to have a good week, which you need every week, right?
Right, but Booker, the thesis behind the Booker play is not even really a ceiling either. Even in a regular week. Who are the Giants playing this week? They're Rams, right?
I feel like I guess what I'm saying is.
Rams.
Every other week I'm shooting for ceiling because you don't know what your opponent's going to do, and I think you should just do that. And this is the 1 week where, and sort of to your point on Booker, but I almost don't care about building. If I was going to make an adjustment, I'd be less concerned about building the highest scoring. You know what I mean? Because you know that your opponent is just beating the bottom 6 scorers in your league. It's that you're not actually going to be playing someone that's super I don't know. You still want the total points and everything, but there's no scenario where you need to be number 1 in the league to get your win. You just need to be number 6.
Yeah.
Sam says he thought it was worth 2 games, so we can disregard the point.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's we're already entering the bye weeks where, I went through and I set the first run of bids and some starting lineups on our squads. And there weren't a lot of tough start-sit decisions, as far as it was we have Ayuk out. All right, Chase Claypool, move up to the starting lineup. So I guess the point, too, is it's not like in DFS, when you're thinking about floor versus ceiling in some spots and you have the entire player pool available to you. It's you're just putting the guys in that you have.
Oh, for sure.
This was a question here that I think is interesting because we do have some of these other guys. I'm surprised Damian Williams is not available in any FFPC leagues. Darrell Williams might be available.
Not in ours.
Not in any of mine either.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we can entertain that question just from a more general season long perspective. How do you guys feel about those three?
Who's the third one? Damian,
Darrell, and Booker.
I think I'm Damian first because he had a 15% target share last week. The script, I think, the fact that the Bears were playing from ahead, which we can kind of toss that right out. That's why you had so much Khalil Herbert. Off the top of my head, I think Damian Williams had 48% of the snaps, so that's like, a bit of a concern. But at the same time, he's probably going to have a much more expanded role when they're playing in negative game script like they probably will be playing the rest of the time Montgomery's out, or a vast majority of it. So I like him. And then Darrell Williams would be second for me. I think he could really have a stranglehold on that role. And I you could argue for first with him, but I'm assuming that Montgomery ends up out longer than CEH. So that would be my part of the reason I prefer Damian. And then Booker last.
Yeah. Gretch, how do you feel about McKinnon? Because I would say he's the other name that is readily available in most leagues. We do have CH now on IR. Darrell Williams rostered in a lot of leagues. What's your interest level on McKinnon?
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go with this. Pat, were you just saying you would take Darrell over Booker?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. My take on Darrell is like you're not going to get a ceiling out of him at all. He's not good. I'm doing that thing again. No, I'm doing the Van Jefferson thing, right? Like I know that he's not good, but no, I mean he's been pretty inefficient. He's not been there is the scenario where he gets like the high value touches, where he catches 4 balls and scores a TD, and you get like 12 to 15 points. But I don't see a lot of scenarios unless he like runs a wheel route and catches a 25-yard pass where he has more than like 40 or 50 total yards. Like this guy's not going to have explosive plays. And if you look at the snaps last week after CH goes down and even before, McKinnon played a ton too. It was pretty even. Like McKinnon's been completely out of the offense. Last week it was, I just pulled it up, Darrell Williams 43%, McKinnon 31%. So you're talking, I mean, a 10 snap difference, 37 snaps, 27 snaps. McKinnon, to me, is actually the more explosive one. I think in a lot of scenarios, McKinnon could wind up outscoring Darrell Williams. Williams did have more touches and everything, but now that they're going to kind of game plan and not have CEH available and all of that, I'm interested in McKinnon as like the cheap backup. Like it's kind of like the Herbert pickup last week when we were spending a ton on Damian Williams, or several weeks ago. I just had it in my head.
Royce Freeman.
Oh, yeah, but also I was going to say JaMychal Hasty the week everyone went nuts on Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
You could have got Hasty cheap. If Hasty doesn't get hurt, he ends up being the better pickup there because Mitchell ends up getting hurt. I think Hasty would have played over Sermon. They don't like Sermon. But you can sometimes in these situations grab the second guy. And in this case, I think it's a great opportunity, frankly, because he looks more explosive. He might be the guy that they actually like manufacture touches for. Williams, to me, is just like going to be a guy who's out there. I think they'll also do some stuff with Tyreek in the backfield like they've done in the past. Like we're going to see them just completely ignore the running backs too. Like a lot of scenarios where neither of these guys are even good.
That's what my snap take. I did the first look at DFS salaries, and I was like, I feel like McKinnon and Darrell are going to be a poor man's Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, which didn't get me too excited. Like a very similar kind of roles in less talented players.
Yeah, but I think you're looking at with Williams, he was getting some goal line work before CH was hurt, and he was getting pass catching work before CH was hurt. So it's hard for me, like, okay, now CH goes down and he's going to give up goal line work and pass catching work to McKinnon. Like, I'm not saying he's going to have a total lock on that work, but you'd have to imagine that Williams' share of that would increase post CH going down since he was the only one getting mixed in there in the first place. And then you also just might have CEH out for quite a bit longer than Barkley's out, given that he was sent to IR. So that's why I would have him over Booker. I think the McKinnon ad is pretty interesting. I would compare it more to like a Hasty type of ad than a Royce Freeman, where I think there's like some legitimate upside to McKinnon. But McKinnon also, I mean, I'm not sure he's got much left. So it's not like he's this, like if it was Darwin Thompson, and I understand that Darwin Thompson got cut.
That we're empty in the clip.
Yeah, but if it was anyone that we could like muster a bull case for in a real way, I think we'd be excited. But kind of know that McKinnon's probably pretty close to done.
Yeah. Yeah, when are we going to get the Eno Benjamin week? So we just have this backup that we can all get real frothy about.
We should probably start adding him now. It just feels like that's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, is he even number 3 though, or is that Ward dude number 3?
Come on, man.
Shit.
It's never even going to happen, so just let us dream.
I added him last week in a league where I just needed to grab a handcuff on like Sunday morning, and I was like, Eno's always the one that comes to mind, you know? But like,
yeah.
It's...
I put him. I usually do that on Sunday if we have any bids. I'll put like 3 guys ahead of him that no one will add, and we'll definitely get one of them. But then I'll put Eno in for it.
Gotta have Eno bids in there.
I will say we a lot of Ship Chasing Nation has been grinding the take a peeks. There was a extra one this weekend with the Sunday morning London game. I believe we have another Sunday London game.
It's sort of a half take a peek, right? You're taking a quick hold peek.
A very quick peek.
You get about 30.
I think Sam
you don't even get a full 30 minutes.
Hey, you get a peek's a peek, Pat. Trust me. There you go. Paul wants Gretch to have his kids throw you a beer. Pat and I aren't drinking tonight. Is Gretch drinking?
I'm not right now. No, I could. I could have a beer.
Don't threaten. I might have to get a drink. I might have to.
Oh, guys, come on. I'm gonna get a drink.
What? I mean, I was barely even. I don't think I added a single wide receiver to a bid group when I did my first pass. Maybe that's a leak. Was there anyone jumping out to you guys at wide receiver?
James Washington is a name that I think makes sense, but I have 0 claims in for him. So no, there's no one jumping out.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in a position where he's available anymore, but the name everyone's excited about is Kadarius Toney. But he was picked up last week.
So the Kadarius Toney black box appears to have a nice present inside of it.
Yeah.
It does, and I'll credit you, Pete, because you got me to say the right thing in the Friday walkthrough. I was basically like, I don't like this guy. I'm not sold, but pick him up if he's available anywhere still in your leagues. So I gave people the right advice, even though, as everyone who watches this show knows, I've not been on Toney at any point.
It's honestly crazy how good he looked out there. There's just like nothing on his profile that would indicate that he would be able to waltz in and do that.
50% target per route run last week.
Well, I mean, I'll say there's nothing on his profile that necessarily. I mean, his final year, he was playing receiver and didn't have a strong dominant rating. That was sort of a red flag. But every other year, he wasn't even playing receiver, so we kind of didn't know. You know, I don't know. I've been thinking about it too. Usually, when the guy's not productive, especially in his 4th year. But I mean, it always indicates they're going to have a hard time earning targets. And like, you're right, Pete. Like, I did not expect. I mean, I'd certainly watched some film on him. He's super shifty. I didn't expect him to be as smooth of a route runner. Like that one, post to out that everyone was showing on Twitter where he just got wide open, like like a deep whip. Like, God, it was such a fucking good route. Like, I'm still horny about it. It's Wednesday. Like, it was such a good route.
I had this same thought watching the game. Obviously, Toney throws a haymaker at a guy wearing a helmet. Doesn't seem like the smartest guy, but again, I don't necessarily want to be in the business of trying to predict what is going to kick him off the field and whatnot. If you're going to not pick him up because you think he's not going to play, I mean, it's the Devonta Booker situation. You might get 2 really good weeks out of him.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff's like, and Hassan mentions in the chat, like, he didn't get on the field until everyone went down. And I think that's part of that reason. I mean, he bombed training camp. He was basically buried. Everyone gets hurt. They sort of begrudgingly play him. Now he looks awesome. You do, like, for dynasty purposes, I'm still, I think, going to be behind the market on him to an extent. He's gone way up in my rankings, but I'm still probably going to be a little bit below market on him, partly because, like, you have to now assume that they're going to leave Toney in the slot and move Sterling Shepard out of his natural position from the slot to the outside. That's what they should do. That's best for everyone because Shepard would be okay out on the outside, and then they get to have Toney out there. But that's not. They might not do that. Like they might say Shepard's better in the slot. We're gonna have him in the slot a fair amount too. Toney, he's gonna go back down to like 50% of the routes or something. Like that would that be like even in
Why
the
would
top
they do
10?
Their
It wouldn't be
first-round
the
pick
top 10
looks
dumbest
amazing.
thing. I know, but like I'm just saying, like we need them now to do a smart thing, which they've kept this guy off the field at every turn, and Shepard is much better in the slot. So I don't know. I'm just sort of like I'm just kind of hanging back. I'm in line. I'm in line to get Toney, but I'm in the back of the line.
Yeah, and they priced him way up in DFS this week. He's already up to $5,600, jump from $4,000, $1,600 salary jump, which all the other rookie wide receivers, Rondell Moore, it's been a slow incremental climb for those guys. So the algorithm is out in front of Kadarius Toney. You're gonna have to pay if you want him this week. What about at tight end? I would say some of the names that I would see, there was a few straggler, Ricky Seals-Jones, lots of David Njoku, some Mo Alley Cox out there. Anything interesting you guys at tight end?
Pat's boy Dan Arnold, if he's available.
I did see that. I logged into ship stealing and chasing stolen bananas, and there was a placeholder bid for Dan Arnold. No one to drop, no bid amount, just
that was
Dan Arnold.
I was like, we got to make sure we don't forget Dan Arnold.
I love that was Ben and not me. Pete definitely saw that and was like, fucking Pat.
I think I saw it.
I did it like that.
I thought it was Gretch because Gretch went in our group chat with Leone or something, and you mentioned you were like, Pat, you were right about Dan Arnold. I fucking love this guy.
Dude, I was defending Visca on Good Football Show today, and so the defense was he does lead the Jaguars. No one has a higher yards per route run on the Jaguars than Laviska Shenault. Dan Arnold is tied with him though. It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, they moved.
That's hard to hear. I mean,
everything I was saying about Tyler Kroft is now true for Dan Arnold. Like low key, like it's a decent enough passing game. The receivers aren't too good to steal all the targets with Chark out, and now Visca's on the outside. We don't really know how well he's going to earn targets out there. He did not do well in his first game earning targets out there. He's playing out of position. Arnold's in the slot, and he gets 8 targets in his first game. He ran 80% of the routes. He looks like he's going to be the main tight end. That was the other part that didn't happen for Kroft, and the fact that the Jets passing game sucks. Like none of this stuff happened for Kroft, but it looks really good for Arnold now. That's why I was saying that to Pat. And then Pat, you were like, yeah, I touted every Jaguars tight end until one hit, but you identified the situation right. I feel like, especially now that Chark's down, it's a great spot for some random tight end to be good. And Arnold,
I'm a big believer in like there's systems that prioritize the tight end and there are systems that deprioritize the tight end. So if I see a new offense, I know Bevel's been in the league, but it's not necessarily like Bevel's offense. If I see new coaching staff come in and all of a sudden the tight end's getting a bunch of targets from the get go, like I'm in on like and literally any name. Like I was researching not Jacob Hollister, but there's a guy even below him
Luke
on the
Farrell.
I researched Luke Farrell, and there was like there's a lot of tweets about how like Luke Farrell has some kind of like random tie to Urban Meyer, and the fan base is like he's only there because he knows his uncle or something, And so I was like, okay, so Luke Farrell's a nepotism thing. I can't pick him up, but that's the only thing stopping me from touting someone is that they probably only made the team because they're buddies with Urban.
Well, then what do you make of say like Dawson Knox, going from an offense that wasn't really using the tight end at all, and now he looks like a pretty big part of it.
Well,
I think he's essentially their fourth wide receiver.
Yeah. 2 things have happened with him. One, he's gained a ton of routes this year. He ran over 90% routes last week, and he was already up to career highs at like 75% a couple weeks ago. He's like a full-time player now. He used to always be rotational. They did deprioritize the tight end. They're not anymore. The second part of that is Beasley's routes have completely cratered the last 2 weeks, like sort of in conjunction. Who knows what that's in relation to, but and it could have been a matchup thing with the Chiefs. They were obviously attacking downfield, right? So maybe they're like, we don't want Beasley on the field. We think Knox is a better field stretcher, basically. And they hit him on, some long shots and obviously the long touchdown. But Knox was out there a ton. He basically is a receiver now, like Pat said.
Yeah, he's been balling out. And then, we did just lose him. He's out for the season now, right? But Max Williams was starting to get used pretty decently in Arizona.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like the only factor of like, whether the tight end is a system thing or not, but I think with Arizona, they're just way better than we thought they were going to be. And this is actually true of Buffalo as well, where they're running the ball more because they're up a ton. And so I think it makes sense then that the tight end is getting a little bit more involved in the receiving game too, because it just makes sense to have more kind of tight end involvement when you're playing from with having a pretty big lead at times. I mean, Buffalo's shutting teams out, so I think that might factor in a little bit. I think Max Williams' routes are probably up because of just how well they're playing, and they're able to kind of just run the ball a lot and close teams out that way.
Yeah. Ben, any other after emerging from the stealing signals lab this week, any other things jump out to you that might be exploitable on the waiver wire here within the next 11 minutes?
We only have 11 minutes?
11 minutes.
Oh, shit.
What
Don't
even
worry,
is
guys.
time?
I went in and put bids today. Don't worry. I got it.
Oh,
I got
nice. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, man.
Ricky Seals-Jones played a ton. If you need another tight end, I mean, we kind of knew that. He seems like a viable tight end streamer. I would take Arnold over him. They're not. I feel like Seals-Jones is more available than Arnold even, which is interesting.
He's pretty available. I'm into Seals-Jones. I mean, that's another thing. Like, you talk about the system that utilizes the tight end.
Yeah.
Almost no one has the tight end run more routes than Washington. And I think some of, targets to some extent, I think can be, targets to the tight end can be somewhat a factor with the system. But just, I mean, the routes, like, that's just a fact. Like, very few teams have a tight end run that many routes, and they do. And then they did it with Ricky Seals-Jones as well as Logan Thomas. Like, I don't think there was anything particularly special about Logan Thomas. They just want their tight end running routes. And now a different guy's going to do it.
I mean, he's basically playing the exact same role that Logan Thomas was, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we didn't talk about Njoku much. He obviously has the breakout game there. What's going on between Njoku vis-a-vis Austin Hooper right now?
Dude, I mean, I would love to know. It's just kind of crazy. I mean, I've always thought Njoku was a very talented player, but he's always been buried, and now he's kind of getting a little bit more of a chance. But, he ran around on 60% of dropbacks last week. It's not... And because Hooper wasn't targeted, I don't have it in my spreadsheet here, but he was out there a fair amount. They're pretty similar on the season in terms of routes run, so it was definitely Njoku's week, but it's like hard to trust going forward. Yeah, on the season they both run exactly 50% of routes. Njoku has a 12.1 ADOT, and Hooper's at 5. So Njoku's routes are more valuable for sure. He's also earning targets at a higher rate, but God, like just put him out there more,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he looks awesome. I mean, this is the same guy we all got excited about in Dynasty, however many years ago when he came into the league.
Yeah, I mean, he's hype. He's super athletic. I mean, no one wants to hear Kyle Pitts FUD, and I'm not really even saying this, but like he was one of the reasons. If you want to know like why I'm not like fully 100% in on the Kyle Pitts stuff, it's because Njoku's like was a really really strong tight end prospect, and he just turned into nothing, and that's just why I'm just wary of like our ability to predict it at tight end. Not that we can't do it at all, but it's always been so confounding to me that he didn't turn into anything.
Yeah, and you have
the. Right, go ahead.
Private jet?
I was just going to say you also have the perfect storm right now in Cleveland where there's just a non-existent wide receiver too, basically. I mean, I know Higgins had a touchdown. I know Donovan Peoples-Jones has been on the field a little bit, but does seem like there's plenty of opportunity to support Njoku in this offense right now.
Agreed. Pat and I are just chatting over here. I'm just gonna agree with what you said.
How much do we have left there, Ben?
I was looking at it.
Only 200.
Yeah, and it's also just like not our need in cranking purple either.
Okay, so maybe like 15 or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just wanted to put it first.
Any other questions here in the chat? Okay, here's one. Although this isn't waiver wire related. Evan Ingram or Jadu Smith, rest of season. Does anyone have a take?
Ingram.
Ingram sounds good to me.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't even care about those titles.
All right, let's see here.
Is that
Five-
you, Pat?
5 minutes until. Oh man,
What's that?
guys, hold me back. I want to tell
that-
everyone.
Is that new, what you just wrote? After we were talking about only...
That was just fired off the hip, but I'm fine with what you guys said.
Okay. That's what I was
I was-
thinking, too. Something in that range, but that's like half what we have.
Yeah, we probably don't need to do that.
All right. We are trying to figure out what to bid on Will Fuller in the league. If you're wondering what all this whispering is, and I'm about to tell you.
God damn
Right
it.
about.
Man.
You know what? I do you want to know what thought crossed my mind today?
That's really good.
Because at about 5:30 p.m., I opened up all the leagues and I was like, all right, I'll go through. I'll do a sweep on waivers. Basically crickets in a lot of our co-managing chats. I was like, no one's set bids. No one's taking a look. And then this thought crossed my mind. Are the co-managers withholding information from me, worried that I'm going to leak it on the show later? Is that why no one is telling me what they want to do?
Do you think we have separate Discord chats that don't include you? I don't have the time to make those, unfortunately.
Within a game. I just figure you guys have been talking about the bids all day, and at 9:59, you're going to input them.
I mean, it has been kind of a quieter show as I've been reviewing some of the bids. I did a pod with Leone and Amico today, redrafting the Dynasty rookie class, which is pretty fun. But that kind of put me behind schedule to look at all the bids. So appreciate you going in. We were not excluding you from the bid conversation.
I also was going to say this was a good question because we definitely have this on a couple of our teams, and I can say right now we are holding Russell Wilson, but I think this is a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if this, I mean, it just feels like there's less out there on a lot of quarterback waiver wires than in years past in these leagues. What do you think about that, Pete?
Say that again, that there's less.
It just feels like there's not that many great options on the waiver wire at quarterback right now.
I mean, definitely not great options, but I would still say there's depth. Like, you can add a Wentz in a good spot against Houston this week. Tua coming back is available in most leagues. Like, there are some Heineke's floating around out there. But yeah, I mean, there's no like slam dunk. We haven't had a Herbert or a kind of a rookie, really emerge yet that's been a slam dunk.
Yeah. That just make me feel like I kind of lean to keep Wilson, partly because it's like, I just, to have some path to upside again at quarterback feels nice. But I wouldn't be like opposed to moving on from Wilson in certain situations either.
I haven't even like looked into the timeline injury stuff. So I don't even like, what are they saying right now?
He's gonna be out a while.
I mean, Gretch, how much are you downgrading? Like, if you did rest of season ranks, like, where is DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? Or if you redraft a best ball resurrection team on Underdog, where should those guys be going?
I was thinking like for Metcalf, he's maybe like a wide receiver 2, mid to like maybe even lower end. I don't know. It's not like a huge drop for me. I think Lockett's more like a wide receiver 3 at that point. Like they're both still, and that sounds, I think, worse than it really is when you sit and look at the actual receivers, right? Like I think you'd want to have like the Mike Williamses and the Cooper Kupps that are smashing, and there's also a lot of other guys that didn't just lose their quarterback that aren't smashing that I would still take. Obviously like Stephon Diggs or whoever comes to mind in that scenario. So, like, there's a lot of good receivers out there. I would take the Steelers guys now that that's going to be more condensed, I think. Maybe not over Metcalf. I think Claypool has a shot to be pretty dang good the rest of the way, and Deontay, both of them, frankly. So maybe I would take them both over the Seahawks guys.
I don't think I'd take over Metcalf. I think
maybe not over Metcalf, but probably over Lockett.
Yeah,
like when you sit there and like look at all the different receivers that are available, the guys that were going in 5th rounds of drafts and 6th rounds of drafts, and the ones that have moved up. That's why I started with like Williams and Kupp. I don't think you would have Metcalf where he was on draft day, or really particularly close, and I don't think you would have. But I don't think you would go so far back. Is my point. It's like a wide receiver 2. I actually think is not that much of a fall. He's still like top 24, and same with Lockett, wide receiver 3. I think they're still gonna be playable. I think Geno's gonna sling it. Their defense sucks, and it's concentrated. The targets are concentrated. Like I think they're still gonna be able to get volume. It's just not gonna be as efficient.
All right, I can't keep it in anymore. We have one league where we bid $511 on Devonta.
What the hell, man? Come on.
On who?
Yeah, I had to say it. I can't keep a secret that long.
On who?
Pete, it's only 9:59, dude. You gonna wait one more minute?
No.
I didn't hear what you said.
He just gave away our Booker bid.
Yeah.
I mean, you can figure it out really quickly.
In one of our leagues, we bid.
Come on. Just wait another.
Up them, baby. If you want them, you gotta go higher.
Pete. Why do you do this?
It's locked. There's a 30-second delay by the time you would even type
There's
in
not a
512.
30-second delay. It's like a 2-second delay.
Oh my goodness.
I do think the guy that we overlooked on some of these bids has got to be McKinnon. Like, we didn't even put in bids on McKinnon in a lot of these leagues.
We had
Sean is saying he thinks he's kind of excited about the Marlon Mack rumors, but like,
oh no! When Sean has one of these trade whisperer inklings, they hit like 50% of the time.
the one I wanted to circle back on, and when you said 11 minutes, I was trying to do but didn't. Was I felt like we should have been trying to at least get dollar bids on McKinnon and get him in some spots. Like, if CH is really hurt for a long time and one of their backs is actually good, it's going to be McKinnon. Mark it down.
Mark it down.
I wish it was marked down on our teams.
I want that to be a gift. Can we get that gift? Mark it down. But let's see. Ben is actually good at this. He waits to give his hot take until after.
I mean, but we didn't pick up the guy Ben's touting, so
I know.
No, I had lots of secondary bids for McKinnon on our team.
Okay.
I thought McKinnon was like on. Here we go. The league where we had the 511 Booker bid, we had a 203 McKinnon bid because our RB2 in that league is David Johnson. So like we're looking for stabs there.
Yeah. You had a 302?
A 203. Yeah.
202. I went in a league where I have with my other co-managers that we need some running backs bad. We went over 300 on McKinnon, which believe me, I was not comfortable. But we got to do it.
Yeah, we had one league where JD McKissick was available, where we bid 426 on him. So that'll be interesting to see how does JD McKissick get dropped? I mean, did he even have one really bad game or something? I don't know how that happens.
He didn't even really have a bad game.
And Antonio Gibson has been perpetually banged up too. It seems like an awful drop.
Banged up is like underselling it. He has a fracture in his shin.
So thank you to whoever.
I gotta start doing waivers before 10 minutes before I come on this stream.
Yes, you guys do. There's nothing.
I start doing it for like 10 minutes before I come live, and then I try to do it during the show, and then I'm like, damn it, I didn't even get any McKinnon bits.
Yeah. This is a good question here because this is a guy that's on some of our benches. We actually made a bid for him in one of our leagues where he was available. How we feeling about Elijah Moore right now?
Not great.
I'm still kind of in. It's all just yards per target is atrocious. I mean, truly atrocious yards per target. But I think it's 3.3 off the top of my head, which is, I mean, that's silly low. That's like a bad yards per carry. So if you just like assume that that's going to rebound, which is a safe assumption, then his 20% target per route run is pretty nice. how efficient can he be with Zach Wilson as his quarterback in kind of a low volume situation? Like maybe not that efficient. So it's not like he's going to be a smash necessarily, but I think we're about to see some positive regression.
Yeah, the concern for me is the offense. I mean, they're just not very good. Like Corey Davis has looked pretty solid, but he's not had any consistent production. Jameson Crowder came back, had a good game, then was terrible the next game. I was in on like Zach Wilson's undervalued type stuff, but it looks like he's going to have a rough rookie year. That happens. It doesn't even necessarily mean that he sucks, but like he could just have a really bad rookie year. Like that's what we're looking. A lot of signs are pointing towards that. He's not done a lot of things that have been like, yeah, look, this looks great. And so and also the scenario where Moore's like the guy doesn't look as likely when Davis is there and Crowder's there, and it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, and also just pulling back to draft season, and one of the big, what we were hoping was a skeleton key were this crop of rookie quarterbacks. Zach Wilson was one of the cheapest, Mac Jones obviously, but then the sweet spot for us was the Justin Fields, the Trey Lance, the Trevor Lawrence. I know it's still early. Any of those guys we just mentioned could break out late still, but are we getting a little worried that thesis isn't going to pan out?
Absolutely worried.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I think you would love to have seen more than what we've seen so far. We've seen nothing. No good production. What from any of them? I mean, Lawrence has found a lot of volume.
I know he's hurt, but Trey Lance rushing for 68 yards. That was
that's why I was saying production. He didn't have a monster game. 0 TDs. Lance is the one where the ceiling is clear. You can see it happen very easily. He should have. I wrote in Signals this week that he was so close to his floor for that game. I mean, we got the rushing. He didn't even throw for 200 pass yards, and he wasn't like horrible passing. He throws a pick. He doesn't get a TD. Even though he got a carry from the 5, he got stoned at the goal line on that sprint out. He had 2 pass attempts on that series into the end zone that both went incomplete. Like he's going to be a huge part of all their touchdown production when he starts. He's either going to run it or throw it. So I mean he's a guy you can totally see with the 16 rush attempts. But so far, like we've seen nothing, and Fields has looked bad. I mean, in terms of fantasy production and the situation, I don't think he himself has looked that terrible, but it's not looking like he's going to have an offense to be productive in. He's not rushing.
Nagy doesn't know what he's doing, man. He's got no plan for him. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like he didn't have a single designed rush attempt in week 4. The stats say he did because he kneeled down twice, but he didn't actually have any designed rush attempts.
And then the 2 in week 5 were a straight QB draw that actually worked okay, but there was no motion. There was none of the the read or the play action type. And then a straight QB sweep, which was like, again, like, why do we keep seeing these plays that play was in Tecmo Super Bowl, the QB sweep in 1991. You had the straight QB sweep. That's how teams ran quarterback plays with Randall Cunningham. Like Matt Nagy is calling Randall Cunningham QB runs. And then you have Kyle Shanahan on at the same time, watching the same games at the same time. And he's doing motion, fake handoff to the left, and he's got Lance sweeping out to the right. And it's like, what the fuck am I watching? Like these are not the same sport with what these quarterbacks are being asked to do.
Yeah, Nagy just is the wrong guy. He's just the wrong guy for this quarterback, and they drafted him in the first round. They got to get a coach who can actually coach their quarterback. I mean, crazy idea, but you should probably have a coach who knows how to coach a quarterback. I think Lawrence has shown some promising signs. He's over the last couple weeks, he's been way more efficient. 4th in EPA per play over the last 2 weeks. 4th in complete percentage over expected. So that's helpful, I think, right? It's like his play's been way better, but his accuracy's also been way better. And the thing I like about Lawrence is he has been willing to challenge deep. He's not scared. He's not he's not just going to constantly check down. Like I think there's some upside to Lawrence's game. Not running a ton, but he has that element. He's had more rush attempts than Patrick Mahomes. Like he runs around a little bit and he's willing to throw deep. And it seems like maybe the light's coming on a little bit. Also very down on their coaching situation, but I don't think it's a total disaster like Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's so disappointing. Hopefully, I mean, the chat's talking about too, like, will Lance even play when he comes back, over Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think is a legitimate concern, but I feel like we've also seen enough from Shanahan at this point where you could tell he wants to get Lance out there. on the field. So I don't know. I still think he could finish the season as the starting quarterback.
Do you guys have a read on how bad this knee sprain is? It's kind of tough because they're going into the bye, so we don't get practice reports or anything really.
I don't have a read on it, Ben.
We got Fuller for $15.
Did we?
Yeah.
Sweet.
There we go. In this economy. All right, yeah, maybe we pull up some of these teams, see how we came out here. You know what? As I load this up, talking about not drinking, it's killing me. I need an ice cold Modelo. Ship Chasing sponsored by Modelo. We'll be right back.
And then he just gets up and leaves. Where are you at on Fuller?
I mean, he's always hurt, but I was encouraged by what we saw in the very brief stint that we saw him. I still think he could be good late in the year. So getting him cheap to stash is, I think, fine.
I agree.
I don't think he should be cut.
I agree. Yeah, pretty wild to see him out there on the waiver wire. I don't know. Miami's offense, though, overall, I'm like pretty bearish on. They've been kind of I know they had Brissett out there for a while, but they just weren't running play action the entire time with Brissett. It was bizarre.
In ship chasing, I threw Wayne Gallman in after the tight end bids that we had, which were Dan Arnold and Njoku. We must have missed both of them, and we got Gallman. And I think McKinnon was available, and I didn't think to add him. I'm obsessed with stashing Wayne Gallman for some reason.
All right, let's check it
Mike
out.
Davis is bad.
Yeah, and they generate so many team HVT that I'm just stoked about that.
I do have some of the screenshots for bids coming in here. This is from our team with Chris G. So we have Booker going 379 here. Amon-Ra 108. We pick up David Johnson. Woo woo.
McKinnon for 12.
For 53. McKinnon down here for 12.
Below JaMychal Hasty. So Hasty's one that I've been stashing in another league. I'm getting away from him making any sense at this point. Like, they have Mitchell back. Sermon has played a little. By the time Hasty gets back, Wilson's going to be right behind him.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what's the path for Hasty to be usable? He's going to have like a couple weeks until Wilson's there.
Yeah. All right. We got some more. I mean, this 379 bid here, to me, I'm guessing that's going to be very close to about the average Booker bid.
I think so, yeah.
Here is our Ship Chasing Crew league where we picked up our kicker and defense. Booker wasn't available in this league. Interesting seeing a Josh Kelly for 165. Was there something I missed with Josh Kelly?
He played. Literally. Justin Jackson was inactive. They played him and they used him over Roundtree in the big back role. And apparently that's worth 165.
Well, Roundtree was hurt, wasn't he?
No, he played.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He played special teams, but didn't. He was active, but didn't get carries. The way that I read that was they've been keeping Roundtree active more for special teams than using him in the big back role. And then now that Jackson was out, they had Kelly up, but they prefer Kelly as the big back, which is maybe what this person's thinking. I wouldn't pay $165 for that. Like, you're just gonna have him be deactivated again next week when Justin Jackson's healthy.
The stuff about Hasty in this comment here from Champ about the San Francisco backfield being worth nothing. I had a thought today while I was mowing the lawn, and that thought was Raheem Mostert was going to have a monster year if he stayed healthy. Like, just thinking of how little they trust these other guys right now. I mean, like, Mostert was going to go nuclear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Sam sent over ours. Here is another league where Booker 301 range. So some discount prices here. Amon-Ra St. Brown 286, Njoku 139. Here McKinnon goes for a little more at 49, and then
you
the
got
tight
it.
ends.
That's you.
We got McKinnon. Congratulations to us.
He goes for a little bit more to us.
To the donkeys that overpaid for him. No.
That feels like a nice price.
Yeah. I spent $300 on him, so
you spent $300 on McKinnon
in that one league. Yeah, I was thinking about bringing it down, but we've missed every running back we've went after in that league. It's been pretty running back thirsty, and he was clearly the best available. Like it's been a running back thirsty league. So I moved it down to 200 while we were on the show tonight, and then I moved it back up to 300. I was like, you know what, we got nothing. We got to play him.
Yeah. I'm trying to see any Cameron Brate being available for $3 doesn't seem bad.
No, it doesn't seem bad either. Yeah.
All right, here's another one. We got our Buckeye Boomers. Oh my goodness, what happened to this screenshot?
I feel like Josh's screenshots are always really small.
Yeah, Josh, this is now I'm thinking about blinking again. I had not thought about it.
I had forgotten as well.
At least an hour.
Jerick McKinnon is the second name on that. I'm getting really close to the screen. It looks
so
like
Booker, it's like 328. This is an eye test.
Yeah, and McKinnon's like 160. It looks like there.
I
just want to see him go over 201 leagues, so I don't feel like an idiot.
Yeah, you think zooming is gonna help? All right, let me show you what zooming does, bud.
That's harder to see now. Does that say Eric Cartman? It says Eric Cartman.
Where are you looking? I think
Winning
Eric?
team.
Yeah,
It
is
is
that
Eric
team named
Cartman.
Eric Cartman?
The screenshot in Discord's a little better. Devonta Booker 326, McKinnon 163, Amon Ra 143. This guy Eric Cartman went fucking ham, dude.
Eric Cartman.
Cartman went ham.
I mean, Cartman is a bit of a wild card, as we know.
Dude, this guy Cartman just saved all of his money for week 6 waivers. Miami defense for 59. My God, I mean, it's not that great of a matchup.
He's had his calendar circled since week 1. Week 6, baby.
Oh my goodness. Get out of here, Josh. Everyone can see it in the chat. You said shitty screenshots. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Get better internet.
Get better internet.
You think
Fix your site.
You think fix your site. You think my internet? I just want to test this theory. Right here it goes from this to this. Every time I happen to tab over, Josh.
Josh, look at your it can barely even display how much battery you have. Like, how are you reading your phone?
Poor Josh. How do you live like this, Josh?
You got another one? No?
I don't have any more coming through. If you are in a league with us and want to DM me the screenshot, Silas, Gormanji, Paul, anyone else, starting 5, bros. If you got one, send them over. Vincent, we're not trying to think about blinking. We're trying to move on from blinking.
Please, Vincent.
Josh, I file my complaints with Apple daily by not using their product. Android for life.
You do have an iPhone. Let the record show.
Yeah, but it's more of a prop. I actually have 2 iPhones. They're both props.
So, okay. Your prop game is so out of control that you literally have twice the number of iPhones as every actual iPhone user. But you are an Android guy.
I have literally one iPhone that's a Patrick Laird burner phone.
Now, when you say Patrick Laird burner, is that the phone you actually use because you need to be in an iMessage or Laird won't respond? Is that what it is?
Basically. But I do have iMessage on my computer now, so it's not as big of a deal. It's my guy Clay here in the chat. Sorry, Clay. I'm not allowed to talk about iPhones because Clay sent me this Wing phone. Great phone by LG. Pick it up at stores now. Tell them Pete sent you.
What's your promo code there?
Full stop. I've been using the Wing phone on Sundays. This is an organic ad placement. I go once lineups lock. I go to the gym. I go to the Stairmaster. You get Red Zone. I got Sling on Red Zone this year. I rested up on the Stairmaster. Get the game going here. Get some chat, some Discords down here. And I just bang it out.
That's how you start? That's 1 o'clock for you?
I try to get over there like 1:15, yeah. Because I got to get back. And then I go to the sauna. And I listen to Red Zone on my headphones while I'm in the sauna after.
You can't see any. You're in the sauna.
It's not the steam room, the sauna. Yeah. But no, I can't. No, I just have my phone outside of the sauna. I'm not a crazy person. And then I have my headphones, Bluetooth, in there, listening to Red Zone. And then I'm back to make late swap.
You can't see anything? How long are you doing this?
What do you mean see anything? It's like listening to
It's
the radio.
called watching football.
It's
not. They're
What do you
announcing a video. It's not radio. They're not describing every single thing like on radio. And first of all, listening to radio sucks for football.
Thank you, Nez. Audio Red Zone is the best. Josh, thank you. Why are you guys so in disbelief? I do this for 20 minutes while I'm in the sauna. 20 minutes. Okay, I don't even like football. I could just watch the stream of stats come by. You think I need to watch this shit? Just tell me who scored. Scott Hansen yells it in my ears while I'm sitting in the sauna. What more do you need?
Why would you schedule your sauna for like the best part of the whole week when football's actually on?
No, because I don't even like watching football that much. And this is I'm busy.
Why do you do this?
Get to that?
I'm busy in the morning. I'm nonstop from 9 to 1, and then I need to go work out so I don't feel like a piece of shit the rest of the day. And so I can drink Modelo's at 10:20 at night on a Wednesday.
Dude,
what is happening? I don't even
This
like
is
watching
crazy
football. I just
behavior.
need to go work out so I can drink Modelo.
I mean, it was crazy enough that you like. I can't imagine at 1:15 going and like working out. Like your flip phone's very cool, man. I'm very jealous.
You.
But like watching Red Zone on that, finally football's hit. Finally, like all the prep work is over, and I can sit and actually enjoy football. And I watch it on a little phone while I'm on a Stairmaster, and then I'm in the sauna listening. No, thank you.
All I care about is I need the little dopamine rush. Tell me my guy had a big play. Tell me that's all I need. I don't watch island games. I haven't watched a full island game this entire season.
But you play Showdown.
Yeah, and then once the lineups lock, my work is done.
See, I watch the games, but I don't play Showdown. Because I have podcasts and stuff, and then so I know because
I like how you guys now realize how little. I've made $5,000 playing DFS this year. Watching the games does not matter. I'm not saying it's not fun, but it actually has nothing to do with your bottom line for DFS.
It does make me more interested in playing DFS, though.
Oh, I still love
watching
DFS.
the game.
And I love
of
fantasy football. I love drafting. I just don't need to watch it.
I kind of get the workout thing. Like, the workout thing kind of does make sense to me. Like, I feel like maybe you could find a better time to do it, but okay. But the sauna, listening to Red Zone, because you're saying you don't need to watch the football, but you're still listening. Like, you're not willing to just disconnect and take a true sauna break.
Correct. No, I'll listen to music. I like having some kind of stimulus in there. Don't get me wrong. I need the dopamine drip. I'm checking the phone. I want to see my scores. I want to see when we do tilt space and I can't watch the game, because that's an irony of doing tilt space, right? Like, we're doing a show and I can't even really watch, but I have like the DK live scoring feed up, and I get the same dopamine rush from seeing Russell Wilson's 63-yard touchdown to DK Metcalf as I do watching it on a screen.
Oh, I don't at all. We actually have a Slack for
all
on the NBC Sports Edge Slack. They I'm always streaming, and so there's some people in there that have like Red Zone, actual like cable Red Zone, so they're always ahead of me, and they'll put stuff in there like, oh, DK Metcalf 60-yard touchdown, and I'm just like, fuck,
damn it,
like I that's ruined for me. Like I won't get the hit of dopamine seeing it.
I think this is the difference, honestly, mainly from DFS versus like the season-long stuff, because there are so many DFS guys that don't watch the games at all.
But see, the thing is, I don't even check my season-long scores. I literally don't until, honestly,
me neither.
Monday morning.
Oh, I don't
sometimes.
either. I don't check my season-long scores.
I don't even know how my teams are doing. I'm just watching the games, and I'm like, yes, that's a guy that I know that I have somewhere.
Exactly. That's how I am. That's how I am. I root for DK Metcalf. When DK Metcalf scores, it's good for me.
Yeah.
My experience is literally the exact same.
Okay.
I'm just not watching the games. I'm just getting my information source from a different thing. And I like Red Zone. Don't get me wrong. I love Red Zone. It's the only football I watch, except for a 20-minute sauna break. I can't believe this is so controversial. 20 minutes that I'm not watching Red Zone.
Well, it's just
like a sauna, though. Like, of all things. What?
Yeah, that is. But
you
it's
guys
also
gotta take care of yourself.
I spend 14 hours on Sundays every Sunday, sitting right here in front of my computer. I watch the games on my computer. I don't move.
No, and see that
I barely take pee breaks. I don't go to the sauna for 20 minutes.
But I'm no joke, and I know you guys are the same. but I've been spending multiple hours on Saturday nights doing my DFS research. And then I'm getting up at 7:38 and I'm literally working nonstop from 7 to 1 at my desk.
I'm the same. Yeah.
Writing the newsletter, doing shows, setting the lineups, doing tilt space lineups. And then like I need a break. I need to get up because I feel like so much shit if I'm just at my desk from literally 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. just sitting.
But why don't you just said you don't watch the Island games. So why don't you do it after Red Zone wraps? Why don't you head to the gym?
Head to the gym because then that's when I'm having dinner with my wife, who I haven't seen all day because I've been working inside.
Yeah, no, I mean
fair.
The part about hating yourself at the end of the day is very well taken. Like just sitting in one spot for an entire day on Sunday and then Monday and then Tuesday, you're like, God damn, like I would like to be working out.
Well, Go ahead. I set up what I've realized, and this sounds like ridiculous, but Ben, I feel like you'll appreciate it. I work at this desk, I watch almost all the games at this desk, but then I do the recap pod, and I do that during Sunday Night Football, and so I reset up. I take my computer, I take my mic, I take all this stuff, and I put it on my coffee table, and then I sit on the couch, and I'm on StreamYard, but we don't use the video, so I just like, and I watch the game on the screen like it's just a normal Sunday night. And it's like, it's so good for the mental
I do that on Sunday night too. I lied. I sit here until Sunday night, and then my wife likes to have the game on in the living room. The girls know it's football night. The Island games we watch as a family. Which, by the way, I have a bone to pick about Island games.
Okay,
I understand
please. I have lots
East
of bones
Coasters and they're late, but in the West Coast, it's still very early, and they are constantly playing. I am such a boomer now. I got a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old. They're constantly playing like. The Michael Myers movie was the one this week, but like ads for like scary movies and stuff. It's like, dude, this is how is football like? That's not children appropriate. You're giving my kids nightmares. All right, we can move on. The commercials are like scary for my kids.
That was not where I thought this take was going.
Yeah, I didn't.
I thought it was going to be about East Coasters complaining about the late starts, and you were going to talk about how it's like. It during
too early
time.
for you.
No. I think the East Coast thing is why it's fine because it's late enough that there's not any restrictions on anymore. That's my guess, but they give.
Josh, I also noticed the pronunciation of nightmares was a little weird there.
that's my.
I'm glad you caught that.
I got nightmares. That from my grandparents and my mom, who are all from Montana. That's a Montana dialect right there.
Wow,
nightmares.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is like the most football guy take I've ever seen. Red Zone's bullshit. Have a genie, 2 DVRs, tape all the games, watch them later. Watch your players live as well. Have your own takes on players. I literally cannot imagine having my own take on a player. This is so hardo. I can't get over it. I'm not going after the Red Zone people. I'm just saying I take 20 minutes off from Red Zone.
I literally could not imagine having my own take on a player. That was amazing.
That was so good. What is this parent lock? How would parent lock help you? You didn't change the commercials. He wants to watch the football game.
Coming in hot tonight. You got every.
I don't know what parent lock is.
I don't even know what it is, but I mean, is there something you could literally block certain commercials? He wants to sit down and watch the football game.
Look, Chris G hears me. Agreed. I let my 4-year-old watch 15 minutes of Sunday Night Football. First commercial, Michael Myers. And you're like, girls, don't look. You know, because they immediately hear it. This is what happens. They're sitting there just playing on their pad during their iPad or whatever during Sunday Night Football. They're not even paying attention to football. Immediately hear the music and everything, and they're like, boom. They look up and they're like, shaking, but they like can't take their eyes away. It grabs them. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
As a parent.
Okay. Permar's talking about how you can block certain channels, but that doesn't help Ben because he wants to be watching this channel.
I want to watch that channel.
Family event. Gather around, and then all of a sudden, Mike Myers.
Whatever happened to just beer and cigarette commercials? Why do I got to watch people killing
beer
people?
commercials? Fine. They need to know what to grab from the fridge. They need to know what it looks like.
They know all about beer.
Dad, can we get those? I want to chuck those to you while you're doing it.
Dad, can I throw you one of those?
Can't advertise cigarettes was my point, though. You can't advertise tobacco, but you can put women screaming and evil people with knives on the screen.
I know this isn't your intention, but it sounds like you're making a pro cigarette ad case.
I mean, I would rather watch that for sure. My point was if we're gonna have restrictions, let's like come on.
I got an idea, Bet. You walk around the house or when you guys are watching TV and you have a pack of cigarettes rolled up in your shirt sleeve. And anytime one of these horror movie commercials come on, you say, "Hey, quick, look over here." And Dad lights up and starts smoking. Because it is a better alternative to just being the horror.
You look a little stressed out anytime I get stressed. That way your kids won't get scared. They'll just be addicted to cigarettes.
Thank you, Hugo. Pete's kids won't have that problem listening to Red Zone audio. My kids are going to grow up on audio. Take my boys to the sauna on a Sunday. We're not watching the game.
Your son thinks Red Zone is a podcast.
You guys think that the chat thinks that I'm like advocating for the cigarette commercials. I'm not actually.
That it did seem a little like that.
Yeah.
It seemed like you'd been like co-opted by a cigarette company to try to slip in.
I would probably be having the same take about cigarette commercials if they actually existed.
I feel like I let everyone down. I'm sorry.
Why?
I don't grind the tape like you guys. That's why I read Stealing Signals and Walkthrough, so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that is the point of those articles.
It is. Some of us actually have work to do. We can't just sit around all day with our Genie TV and watching every game on 6 screens.
Some of us have work to do in a fucking sauna.
But also, like, you're full time. He presumably isn't. So, actually, like, it should be flipped.
Actually,
right?
watching the games is what you should be doing.
He should be at the sauna, and you should be watching the games.
I'm a full-time NFT trader, and I don't have time to watch football.
Do you know what your NFTs are, or you don't? You just have a some kind of feed that tells you bought it.
I don't know half the stuff that I'm buying, Pat. That's probably generous at a half. Guys, I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah, it's been an eventful show.
It's been a good show. Maybe I'll go watch Survivor. Call it a new season. You heard of it? Do you know what else?
I used to watch it. I went through stretches where I'd watch like a couple seasons in a row, and then I haven't watched it in years though.
Yeah. Josh, we're gonna land the plane, bud, but all of our eyes are a little, still reeling from that screenshot, and I don't know how well we can see the runway.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say they're reeling from still thinking about blinking, because that's what I. Maybe we just
I've been
needed to
thinking
blink
about
more.
blinking ever since I saw that screenshot.
Sam, please don't tempt me with a good time, because listening to Survivor while sitting in the sauna sounds lovely. Jeff Probst is a very good host. He can cover a lot of ground with his narration, so don't discount audio version of Survivor. All right, we're gonna land the plane. Ben is yawning.
It's 7:31 here, and I'm the one yawning. You guys,
I do want to ask you. Well, Ben, like, how early are you up on Sundays? I meant to ask you that earlier.
I woke up at 4:45 this week.
Good God, on
Because
Sunday
there was a 6:30 game.
Oh. Wait, you got up to watch that game?
Well, I got up to set all my lineups and do everything I needed to do before the game.
Did you play Showdown for that game?
I did not play Showdown. I should have, but I basically wasn't up early enough to do it.
Wow. You're a grinder, man.
I was actually mad because I have the live stream on Roto Grinders now, and I didn't get to watch the second half of that game live because I had to do a show. And I was like, damn, this is the issue with having a Sunday morning show when there's London games. I'm going to have that issue again this week. Kind of didn't think through that. And then, hero status, as Grant says, not to totally toot my own horn, but yeah, I don't stop working from that moment when I wake up until after Sunday Night Football. Do the pod with Sean in the gap between the late games and Sunday Night Football. It's a full day of watching football. It's really hard.
Yeah, the Sundays and Mondays now are very, very busy days. Pat, I imagine, when do you write the majority of the walkthrough? Or is it
Tomorrow.
evenly spread
Thursdays.
throughout the week? Thursdays.
No, I get a big chunk done on Tuesday, and then Monday I'm trying to figure out how to get more of it done on Monday, but it's been mostly unsuccessful. but that'll be kind of, I think, the real skeleton key when I figure out how to get more written on Monday.
It's just so hard because the longer you wait, the more actionable the information is, and the more, I mean, just from DFS, the projections, the injuries, the weather, every stuff changes so much.
For sure. Yeah, I put notes in, like I'll like write stuff up, and then I put like health update in all caps, and I know to go back. And I edit a ton. Like that's part of the thing that takes me the longest is I edit it for hours. So but I write most of it Thursday, and it's been the type of thing where I'm staying up way too late trying to finish it, and then I'll go to bed, get like maybe 5 hours of sleep, and then I'll wake up, finish it, publish it, and then I have a news shift that goes from 1 to 6 on Friday. So I come out of Friday like
dead.
Dead. And then
this is actually a really interesting conversation because people are always like, they think that it's like so glamorous to do fantasy football for your career and stuff, but like listen to what Pat's describing. Like you have to, it's like so many hours of constantly analyzing. Your brain is fried, and it's not analyzing like one thing. It's analyzing game after game, and you have to like clear your mind when you finish one game and then come to the new game and think, clear and write and write
and write. And write like in a way that people are going to actually want to read it. Because like I'll get to a point. I mean, to be honest though, at the same time, like when I'm writing something and it's good, I'm like, it feels great. Like you're like, this is working, and you're like, like I'm actually like piecing it together. It's kind of coming easily. It feels great. But then I'll do that. 2 weeks ago, I wrote up the Packers game, and I was like very happy with how it came out. And then this mouse has this little button here, and I didn't realize that if you hit this button, it goes back a page, and our CMS, the thing I write in, won't save your work if that happens. So I accidentally hit back on the browser after writing something that I was like really happy with. Gone.
That's like middle school trauma type, like bringing back middle school trauma. Remember when like your Word document wouldn't save because your computer would crash, like in the late 90s?
Yeah, and like that in that case, I had luckily saved it like recently, so I just lost like the one game preview, and I was like very in the zone for that, so I was able to like get back into it and finish that game preview. And I think I basically got like I just rewrote it pretty much exactly and tweaked it, and I feel good about it. But then I had another game preview to write, and I was just like, nope, and I went to bed. I was like, because I'd burned through, like, I had 2 game previews to write. I wrote one twice, and I was done. I didn't have and I was like, there's nothing worse than when you're writing, and you're just like, you feel like you don't have that juice, and it's just going to be dry and boring, and you're probably even going to be, like, not doing your best work in the analysis of it. So I was like, no, I'll come back to this when I get a second win in the morning.
But this is the right answer from Andrew G. You got to write in Google Docs and then copy it over to CMS.
So that's what I was doing, but, like... now we're really in the weeds, but like if you want to italicize something and I paste it into, I lose all of that stuff. I lose all the formatting. So that probably is smarter to write it in Google Docs. But
at Roto Grinders, oh my God, same CMS issue. I'm remembering it now. And I had the same autosave issue. And but you would lose the formatting. So I had to do it in there, and you have to hit save constantly. Oh God, that's annoying.
All right, we're gonna land the plane because Matt.
You don't want to hear more about our work week? This is so
Matt
captivating.
told us that we need to save the bullshit, guys. Our tough jobs. Writing about fantasy content.
I mean, honestly, these guys really don't know. Like, I went and worked at CBS. Pat's at NBC, obviously, and is telling you about that. The guys, people think the big names and everything don't work hard. These dudes work so fucking hard. You guys have no idea, honestly. Like, I wasn't even necessarily working as hard as them, but I went and saw my grandma's in town. I went and saw her on Saturday at my mom's. And then I saw her last night after I finished Signals. And she was like, oh, hey, I had told her that I had to write an odds checker article when I got home on Saturday night. She was like asking me how that article went. And I didn't know what she meant because I thought she was talking about my newsletter. And then she was just sort of asking how work was going or whatever. And I was like, you know what, Nana? I have not
stopped working since I saw you on Saturday. I went home and I wrote an article and I went to bed and I woke up at 4:45 and I did the whole Sunday I was telling you guys about. Then I woke up and did signals all day Monday, and then I woke up and did it all day Tuesday until literally I did nothing but work until I went and saw her again on Tuesday night. Like, it's not like peaches and cream. You guys think, like, people think it is. Like, it's not 8-hour days. It's 14, 16-hour days.
Yeah. And you are doing football analysis, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like I'm enjoying it, but it's definitely like, it's intense. Like, it's really intense to be doing this.
And I'll also just say people legitimately like hearing about how the sausage gets made. There's literally a fucking cottage industry of people talking to each other about their process, how they do things. People like hearing it. So if that upset you, I don't know, get over yourself. All right. Thank you for tuning in tonight to another random ship chasing. We appreciate you guys. Check out Stealing Signals. Of course, he has the updates for this week are both out. Pat's walkthrough, which will be written mainly tomorrow, is coming out on Friday. I'll be here Thursday for Splash Play Friday with my GPP show on my YouTube channel. We'll see you guys in the Discord. Oh, also check out Sam Hoppin's stat chasing from that got posted yesterday. He had a really nice section on the Cardinals wide receivers that I found interesting if you're wondering what's going on between Christian Kirk, Rondell Moore, and all that good stuff. So for Pat, for Gretch, I'm Pete. Don't forget to blink. We'll see you guys next week.